might lose his mind.
Oh my! Why you said that, brother?
Welcome to the show, man.
What's going on? Man, what's up?
Man, I appreciate you coming on, man. I'm glad we was able to do this, man. You inspired me. 21 years old, man. With a platform like that, man, I just want to say thank you from the depths of me. It's just inspiring the thought of the thought process, you know. And
yes,
it was just refreshing when I woke up Monday or Tuesday, yesterday morning. I was like, man, I'm inspired, man. And thank you, man. So walk us through that, if you don't mind. You and Roland Martin, you guys had past interactions on Twitter and all that.
Yes, sir. Well, actually, I was a fan of Roland Martin. In the viral clip, that's what I said. I used to actually watch him quite often. But of course, I call myself a conservative, and he had an issue with that. But I had never, interacted with him on social media. I used to always just watch the show. And one of his panelists actually always, used to have me on her show constantly because of the work that I've been doing. Like for the past 2 years, she used to have me on her show. Like when I first started, like doing my work. And he tagged me in something on Twitter about voter suppression. And he was like, Black Republicans, this, that. And I was like, dude, I was like, I'm not a Republican, but like, what you want me to do about that? I'm just like, that's not my fight. And I don't really get into that. But a friend of mine who is a Republican, he him and Roland got into it or whatever like that. And he was like, I bet you won't have us on the show. And I was like, nah, Roland gonna get on there and, be cutting us off and start acting like a female like he always do. And the only reason I said that was because he had shared one of my previous videos like a few months prior and had called me an idiot for saying that, we should start trying to do for self in our communities and go, fix our own communities instead of waiting on, the government and stuff like that. And he shared my video and called me an idiot. And that's when I was turned off because I was just like, Roland, I was like, I'm a fan of this guy, but obviously that changed that day. So he invited me on the show. And my friend couldn't come because he's a press secretary for a congressman. And got on the show and I told him, on Twitter that wasn't my fight. I told him, I don't really get into the voting thing. I vote, but I don't look at that like they look at voting. They look at voting like if every Black person in the world votes, then we're going to have a change. That's not where I'm at. I'm just like, we vote, cool. But the normal everyday Black person that I interact with on a daily basis don't really vote because they don't see their conditions changing. They've been through so many congressmen, so many presidents, so many mayors, so many commissioners, so many county commissioners, and their conditions are still the same. They don't care. I'm just like, they want to see some real change. And he tried to, say I baited and switched him or whatever like that. But I'm like, no, I didn't. I answered your question. You asked me, what did I mean by do for self? And I gave you an answer. I didn't expect nobody to take that clip and make it go viral. I'm just like, the whole Black community agreed. And white people agree. So I was just like, you just messed yourself up there, brother, especially trying to bully me and things like that. And, of course, I kept it respectful because the boys in my program are always watching me. So, of course, I had a few things I could have said to them, but I know I have my boys watching me and I want to show them how a man actually, handles something like that. So I stated my piece. I said what I had to say and I just kind of, let it ride. I mean, he did what he did, but I was like, this is going to make him look like a real butthole. And honestly, that interview was like 3 weeks ago, and then it went viral like on Sunday. So it was quite interesting. But all the support has been overwhelming. Not because I'm happy that he brought me on the show, because people were able to find out what I've been doing. But I'd rather it had been in good spirits because I don't like having enemies and stuff like that. I don't want no enemies, especially if we all Black. I'm just like, we can help each other out. I want to help push those things, in our community. But if I don't have to have an enemy, I don't want one. But hey, if you want to beg to be an enemy, then you can be, so it kind of is what it is. But he's been saying a few things after this interview. He's still posting to this day about it. And I don't respond. I'm just like, I work constantly. I'm like, all I'm gonna do is respond with work that I'm doing every day in the community. He's telling people I'm pimping them and stuff like that. I'm like, they're not worried about you because they literally see the work that I'm doing on my page. Like all of my social, you see what I'm doing. I'm just like, you just talk all day and post your Cash App and your Venmo. I don't even ask for donations. Like I barely even post where our donation page is, and people are like, what do we donate? I don't ask for that because God makes a way regardless. So that's just kind of where we are with that. But yeah, it was an interesting interview. I'm happy that he brought me on, and I don't have any ill feelings towards him. I mean, he's still saying stuff now, but it's okay. I'm not gonna respond because talk always is gonna lose to work. So
no, you're absolutely right in terms of outwork the talker. When the cameras went off, what was the conversation like when the cameras went off, like as it pertains to y'all two?
We didn't have a conversation after that. When the cameras went out, that was it. I did invite him to come speak to my boys after at the end of the show. When I got off, but listening to the things that the panel said, afterwards, the stuff he was saying, and then the little slick talk on Twitter, I was just like, all right, bro, that's obviously gone. I don't even want you here, So I try to keep the relationship still, but you can't force anything. I just try to make sure we have allies in the Black community, not enemies. There's no reason for us to be beefing or whatever, but hey, it is what it is.
Well, now, who is